What does Stanford actually look for in applicants? Yeah, there's all this talk of high grades, high SAT score, really flashy, impressive extracurriculars, but in this video, we're gonna talk about some things that you probably haven't thought about that much before, but that Stanford actually really cares about. In fact, I even went to a webinar recently and heard the Dean of Admissions speak on this, and I'm gonna even give you some direct quotes from this guy about what Stanford is looking for in their admissions process. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Dylan Nellis. I am a college admissions coach at NextGen Admit, and I recently graduated from Stanford. My mission is to give you college application support and strategy to not only create standout applications that get into your dream schools, but to craft these powerful stories in a way that captures the true you. I'm all about creating authentic applications and not shoving you into a box. And if that's your vibe, then I have something you're gonna really love. I've put together a full free masterclass on the top school admissions formula, and this is going to really break down what it takes to get into a top school like Stanford and give you some of those admissions insights and secrets that most people don't talk about. It's completely free, and this strategy seriously has the potential to change the trajectory of your college application journey, and I guess your future as well too. Wow. So if you're committed to crafting a strong application to your dream schools, then visit nextgenadmit.com/masterclass and you can register for free. I also threw in some other fun bonuses that you'll get for free if you attend. Okay, so let's talk about Stanford admissions. The first thing that you really need to understand is that Stanford uses a holistic review process. I can't tell you the number of times I've gotten messages from students that are like,
"Oh my god, I got 1B in my biology class. Is that gonna ruin my chances?"
Or I'm
super worried about this one thing that happened in freshman year. Is that gonna ruin my chances?
Look, the admissions process is holistic, meaning it's not one factor that's going to control your whole outcome. The admissions officers really take a holistic approach to viewing your application, so they're looking at all of these different factors and evaluating them within the context of your background and your experiences. This is why you can't necessarily put two people next to each other with completely different backgrounds and experiences and evaluate them in the same way. It doesn't work that way because these people might have gone to completely different types of schools. Maybe one of them went to a private school, maybe one of them went to a public school, maybe one of them was international and one of them was local. And these students have very different access to resources, so we can't judge them in the same way. The point is, colleges want to see that you're taking advantage of the resources that you do have available to you. So it's not just a matter of grades and scores. They are looking at your academic excellence, your high school rigor, like how much are you challenging yourself with the classes that you have available to you at your school. They're of course looking at your extracurricular achievements and want to see that you are taking leadership roles. They want to see that you're pursuing your intellectual curiosity through passion projects. You're going out into your community and you're seeing how you can make impact on a wide scale. They want to see that you're going beyond the classroom. You're taking initiative and action to pursue the things that are interesting to you, to not only learn more about them, but to make real world impact. They want to see that you are taking steps to address the problems that you really care about. And why do they want this? Well, Stanford prides themselves in having really successful alumni that go on to change the world in big ways. They want to be confident that when they admit you to their school, you're going to continue doing these types of things. You're going to participate in things like cutting-edge research, or new innovative projects, or helping disadvantaged communities in large-scale ways. Stanford also really emphasizes the non-cognitive qualities that they look for. This is actually something that the Dean of Admissions was speaking about in this webinar that I attended. And he was really saying how people are so focused on academics, but they really want to see these other qualities that are not related to academics. And these qualities need to shine through in your application and especially in your essays. This is the list of non-cognitive qualities that Stanford says that they look for: resilience and the ability to overcome challenges, curiosity and intellectual engagement, kindness, humility, and humaneness, creativity and innovation, commitment to excellence and potential, inquisitiveness and a drive to explore new ideas, passion for meaningful pursuits, persistence in the face of obstacles, motivation to achieve goals and contribute to the community, and grit, which reflects perseverance and determination. So we see all of these qualities, right? And it's like, how do we actually convey them in the application? And that's where college essay strategy plays a humongous role. I have seen too many sad times, in which students have the top grades. They have the high scores, they have the strong extracurricular activities that are related to their major. All of those things are great, but what they're missing is their true story. Because so many times students will write what they think that they should write, what they think the admissions officers want to hear, but that's not what they want to hear. Admissions officers want to see a true, authentic story that showcases who you are. It needs to showcase your genuine values, and your values need to come through in the way that you are articulating the story and articulating your experiences that you went through. So far too often, I'll see students writing about, the things that they went through or the things that they did. But what you really need to pay attention to is why. Why are you doing these things? What drives you? What motivates you? Why are you taking action right now? What was it about whatever topic we're talking about that made you interested? And if your answers to those questions are more things that you did or events that happened, try it again. I'm not trying to get you to say more things that you did. I'm trying to get to your beliefs, your core beliefs, your values, and your insights and your perspectives. Those deeper, internal, emotional things are what you need to identify for yourself before you even begin writing. This is what I pay so much attention to and is the focus of my whole coaching when I actually work one-on-one with students. In just a few hours, I can fully unravel a student and figure out, oh, these are the things that are important to you. Oh, these are your values. I can tell because you've been talking about these specific experiences, and I'll notice certain patterns and themes come up. It's really hard for students to do this at age 17. And I fully get that, because when you're at this age, you're probably not thinking all the time about who you are as a person and reflecting on your entire identity. I mean, you might be, but it might not be at the depth that is required to create a really powerful college essay. So what I recommend you do is really focus on reflection and do some important brainstorming and outlining of your entire storyline before you write your essays. And this is all things that I can help you with and what I teach in my course and in my free masterclass. So again, if you want the strategy to effectively do this to get into your top schools, then visit nextgenadmit.com/masterclass, because I promise it's going to be so helpful. All right, another factor that Stanford takes into consideration when doing their holistic review process is your background. Now, the issue of race in admissions is a really interesting discussion that I actually got to hear the Dean of Admissions speak about, because a few years ago there was a Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action, meaning colleges like Stanford can't use race as a factor when making their admissions decision. Now, this is tough because obviously race impacts how a person goes through their life and it affects their lived experience. Now, the important takeaway from this, in terms of how Stanford feels about this whole decision, is that they still want to hear your story. They still care about how your life experiences and your background have shaped your journey, and therefore your values, your beliefs, and your goals. This is not to say that Stanford does not want to hear about anything related to race and that you should not flex your diversity, because that's absolutely not true. If there is something that you think is really special and core to understanding you that has to do with your race or your culture or your background, please absolutely share it, because they want to hear about it. So while Stanford can't technically consider race or ethnic status when evaluating your application, they can evaluate experiences influenced by race when tied to your unique contribution to Stanford's community. And so if you look at the Stanford application, you'll see they actually ask a question in their essay prompts to get you to do this. This is a typical unique perspectives essay that you'll see a lot of other colleges ask for, and it'll ask about how your unique life experiences or perspectives will help contribute to the Stanford community. This is Stanford trying to understand you within the context of your background, your upbringing, and your experiences. If this feels right to you, you can talk about something related to your race and your culture, but you do not have to. I'm going to be making a whole bunch of other videos on the Stanford essays and on the unique perspectives essay in particular, which will go much more into depth about all of that. But to clearly make this point, I want to give a direct quote from the Dean of Admissions at Stanford. He said, "The first and highest priority is success academically in their school experience. And I say that in context. We know kids are not equal. We like seeing kids be successful in the context of their school and community." He really emphasized that they embrace all perspectives when evaluating your application to Stanford. So get rid of this idea that you're ruled out because of one factor that influenced your entire application. It doesn't work like that. They use a holistic review process. Next, I want to talk about the importance of depth over breadth when it comes to your extracurriculars. A lot of people think that they need to do so much to get into Stanford, that they have to do all the clubs, all the activities, when really you don't. Stanford just cares about you doing the things that are important to you and that you're going full force all into them. They want to see that within whatever the things that you are doing, you are putting your all into it and really making a large impact on the communities that you are serving. I think this is best explained by another direct quote by the Dean of Admissions, Richard Shaw from Stanford. He says, "We don't want kids to get involved with 37 different activities. Often kids think the more activities they have, the more it makes them competitive. What we really care about is kids indicating what is really special to them, what they're really passionate about. It's okay if they do 2 to 3 things that they really care about. We take a holistic review and embrace all perspectives. We are not looking for one type of student, we are looking for all types. We care about authenticity." One of the great challenges we have today is the worry of AI. We don't want kids to use AI in their essays. We want them to be their authentic selves. So that quote honestly says a lot. An interesting part that he mentions at the end there is the usage of AI. I have, of course, had my own fair share of playing around with AI and seeing if it can even do a college essay in a way that is good, and I have not been impressed by it at all. Because, of course, if you're gonna write an essay with AI, it requires so much context that you would have to feed to the AI that at that point, is it even worth it? Because you have to do all of that work anyways, identifying each of the stories from your life that can properly convey those values, and then bringing out the very, very, very specific details and emotional details as well from the stories, and then organizing and writing it in a way that is creative and uses your unique voice. Like, you can't do that with AI. The whole point and what colleges want to see is authenticity. You need to extract all of those qualities and stories from within. And that's what I help my students do. When I coach my students one-on-one, we work on creating a hero story, not a sob story. We want to make sure that they're telling a story that is authentic to them, showcases their truest values, but also positions them in the strongest light. So they're not focusing on their weaknesses or their challenges, they're focusing on their growth and the lessons that they learned. Therefore, showing Stanford that they're gonna succeed on their campus, that they're gonna contribute to Stanford's mission and community, that they're gonna make big impact in the world, and that's exactly what Stanford wants to see. So you heard it from the Dean of Admissions himself, Stanford wants to see authenticity. and authenticity is my core value when it comes to the way that I coach my students. If you are interested in being one of my students and working one-on-one with me throughout the entire application process, I would love to meet you. Let's hop on a call, let's discuss your goals, and we can craft something that really stands out and tells your authentic story. Just visit nextgenadmit.com, and on that website, you can even send me a message and we'll get back to you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you thought, what's something that you learned that you didn't know before this video, or what's something that just like really sunk in from this video. I'd be curious to hear. Also, if you have any other questions or things you want me to answer on this YouTube channel, please let me know. I'm happy to take video suggestions. That is all for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon.